Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Lively. My name is Ken Garofalo and today we have the pleasure to speak with Jonas Lamis of StakerDAO and also Tezos Capital. You may know him from some of our previous videos and previous work we've done with Tezos Capital. So how are you doing today, Jonas? Thanks for joining us.
Ken, I'm doing great. It's fantastic to be here in Boston with you live today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you came out last night actually to give some announcements during our Tezos Boston meetup in regards to your new project, StakerDAO. So just give us a little high-level introduction on what this project is actually about.
Yeah, totally. So StakerDAO is a new company and a new concept. Basically, we're taking some of the best concepts from Tezos from a governance perspective and some of the newer concepts that we're seeing in the decentralized finance world, for example, MakerDAO, and we're putting those two concepts together to launch a new governance platform for managing decentralized financial assets in a very fair and decentralized way.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, so you talk about your inspiration coming from Tezos, coming from MakerDAO. What other aspects from Tezos specifically were the inspiration for this project?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that Tezos just excels at over every other chain right now appears to me to be the governance process. The fact that we have this fantastic Tezos Agora process where we have coin holders who vote, if you will, with their stake to stakers or bakers as we call them, and then we have bakers who vote on protocol amendments put in by different developer teams from around the world. That whole process happens on a recurring basis every 3 months or so. We go through a 4-phase process for that to happen. Tezos has really nailed the decentralized governance strategy, right? And so Tezos has a lot of other great properties as well, but when we looked at how would we think about building a infrastructure to manage new financial assets, but do it in a decentralized way, we naturally associated with that Tezos governance process.
Yeah, excellent, and it's predictable governance, and they're really excelling at that. So I'm glad that you're drawing inspiration from those successes. Now, how does the governance council work? You've mentioned the council. How many members of the council? How do they become elected, and what is the weight of their decisions?
Right. So. One of the really cool things about what we're building is we're taking the Tezos FA 1.2 token standard, which is the security token standard that's been developed on Tezos, and we're modifying it in a way that the security token will have a built-in open source governance module with it. So we're calling it a new Gov1 token, which hopefully will be released to the Tezos ecosystem in the next couple of months. And what that basically will do will allow teams to launch both a security token and a governance framework at the same time that link together, right? So all those cool things that you see happening on Tezos Agora, you'll be able to implement that same kind of framework with your own customizable governance token, and that will all hopefully be open source work. So our governance model that we're going to implement on this, like Tezos, has 4 phases, but unlike Tezos, it will run every month. So every 30 days, there will be phase 1 where the token holders will work with our operations team to put a proposal onto the Tezos blockchain through our governance process. That proposal will determine how the financial assets that StakerDAO manages will change over that 30-day period. In week 2, that proposal will be discussed among the community. In week 3, the StakerDAO Council, which is a 5-member elected board from the token holders, and that election happens once a year, that 5-member StakerDAO Council will decide to approve or not approve that proposal. And then in week 4, implementation will begin, again from the operations team, to deliver on that proposal. So some changes, if you look at MakerDAO, for example, they have a governance process on MakerDAO that is governed by the Maker token holders, and one of the main things that the MakerDAO token holders do today is they decide on the stability fee of the interest rate, essentially, that single collateral DAI and soon multi-collateral DAI is set at. And it has changed from 1% up to 20%, and now it's about 5 or 6%. That same kind of governance process and those same kinds of decisions will be taken by the StakerDAO Council, depending on what assets the StakerDAO is actually delivering.
Yeah, so that's kind of a lot to digest there. I want to focus in on this Gov.1 standard that your team is going to propose coming out of this. Basically, you're enabling a governance aspect to be baked into the security token that's being built on top of Tezos. So that's what I find most interesting, and actually that's where I'm seeing some questions from the community arise, is how can we incorporate the features of the main chain, the main Tezos token, into a tokenized security token asset. So important to look more into that Gov.1 standard as your team develops it. And is there a timeline for the development of that, or?
So engineering teams are hard at work. Our internal engineering team, plus we partnered with Sarakel on this. Sarakel has done a lot of work for the Tezos ecosystem already. In fact, they are one of the main developers of the FA 1.2 standard, and also one of the main developers of the Tezos Agora ecosystem. So a lot of that work is going to be work that we're going to be reusing as well. The timeline on this is hopefully by the end of December. We hope to have this Gov.1 standard live on Tezos mainnet, and in early January, I think, is when we will see the first governance process run for StakerDAO.
That's very interesting. So a lot of people have been asking timelines for when will an STO actually launch, or security token go live on Tezos. Well, this isn't necessarily an STO, but it is a security token, and your plans are December, January to have this thing on the actual blockchain. So very cool. So another question here is just what kind of products will StakerDAO be governing?
Yeah, that's going to be the great mystery, which is when you put the hands of product development and product selection in the hands of the community. It's our bet is that decision-making process will yield some incredible new concepts that may not emerge from a more centralized organization, right? There's lots of financial companies out there building their own products, but when you really open it up to a broad set of passionate people who have a financial interest in the success of those products, i.e. the security token, right? Then we suspect that we're going to unlock some really amazing concepts. Now, I would say as an example, you could imagine that in the world of MakerDAO, they've launched a product that is about providing an asset that is pegged to the US dollar, right? That's what DAI is all about. That's not necessarily what StakerDAO will function with. Instead, I think we're more interested in exploring the world of staking. Right? There's all kinds of interesting leverage points within the staking ecosystem. There's the movement of the price of assets across many different proof of stake chains, right? There's the rewards or yield that comes from those assets that's different from chain to chain. There's lockup periods, for example, and staking and some of those things. All of those qualifiers could be used to develop some new and interesting financial products that StakerDAO could launch and manage that the community could then take advantage of as a more efficient, more easy way, if you will, to participate in the proof of stake ecosystem.
So I know last night in some of our conversations you talked about a basket. Basically, holding a staker token allows you to subsequently hold a basket of assets through this whole process. Can you sort of maybe clarify that, or just go into more details on the term basket and what that means for the project?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what MakerDAO has done, for example, they started with one underlying asset being the collateral that they were using, which is ETH, right? And now they've decided that they're going to move to a multi-collateral model, and they've selected a couple other tokens to be serving as their basket, if you will, of collateral that generates DAI. I think in the same way there are ways to combine proof of stake tokens in an underlying fashion that can generate interesting rewards into that ecosystem, but at the same time can also lower the risk of holding any one token. So this whole idea actually emerged from being at Tezos Baker. Running Tezos Capital is a great experience, but I'm very aligned with the success of Tezos, right? Because bakers, they get rewarded in the underlying token. I was talking to a friend who ran a large validator on Cosmos, and he has the same challenge, which is he's very aligned to the success of Cosmos. We were talking about how do we reduce the risk overall to both of us, and we figured there's got to be some underlying financial asset, derivative type product that could be generated that would allow us to share some risk and some reward between the two of us. And that concept really kicked off this whole discovery of what StakerDAO could become.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing great things for decentralized finance here and reducing risk by diversifying holdings. And so let's talk a little bit about the actual security token that's being built here. This is the Staker token, correct? Now, it's built on Tezos. Give me some concrete reasons on why you chose the Tezos blockchain to issue the security token.
Yeah, so although I spend a lot of time in the Tezos ecosystem, we pay a lot of attention to all of the different chains that are out there and what some of the best features of those chains are and what some of the challenges of those chains are. And it appears to me that the combination of the decentralized governance process on Tezos plus the formal verification for smart contracts, plus frankly the long-term vision that the Tezos ecosystem has and the long-term runway it has to be successful. When you combine all three of those factors together, it's the best bet, in my opinion, for building on top of a chain where you need to manage high-value assets. High-value smart contracts built on Tezos have a better chance of enduring over the long term than on any other chain that I'm aware of today, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people are coming to those same conclusions, and that's why you're seeing Tezos become the leader in security token issuance. So obviously people might be interested in the profit. How does the profit get distributed back to the token holders, and how does the profit get distributed to your team, right? You must be making money from this product.
Sure. Well, one of the observations that we've had is that, there is a real important drive to be compliant with new offerings, right? We're facing that straight on and recognizing that this Staker token, when it launches, should be treated as a security. Because there is an expectation of profit at the end of the day associated with that token. And so it will be a regulated token, it'll be launched in a compliant manner. There's all kinds of requirements associated with that we'll all learn about over the next couple of years as that process rolls out. But at the end of the day, our expectation is that, just like the Maker token in the MakerDAO ecosystem, as interest is paid in the MakerDAO ecosystem, that turns into Maker tokens that get burned, right? And that's how holders of Maker see a profit, if you will, because the supply of Maker tokens is deflationary. It shrinks over time. So I think a similar model is going to be really interesting on the Staker side as well. We don't know exactly what the projects are that are going to be launched by StakerDAO. Again, it's community driven, but some of those projects will no doubt have a flow of proceeds back to the MakerDAO. Some of those proceeds probably will go to operate the company, right? But some of them will go to the underlying token holders, and those token holders might very well see gains through the form of a buyback and burn, just like
I mean, that's very interesting. All theoretical still proposed at this time, but there is opportunity for people watching, so definitely stay tuned for more updates. So now there is a forum that you are developing, a Reddit forum for people to start discussing ideas and there's this possible directions the governance council could go. You want to just give a little name and plug for that? So
yeah, we once this governance process launches, there will be this monthly pace of discussions, proposal development, voting, and implementation. And we believe that discussion process will happen on our Reddit forum subreddit, which is Staker underscore governance is the name of it, and you can get to the link through our website to join the discussion there. We don't have any activity on the Reddit forum yet because we haven't kicked off governance discussions yet, but that will happen hopefully in Q1. In the interim, certainly we have a Telegram discussion group as well that's starting to acquire interested parties, and we're having lots of discussions there as well.
Excellent. And so name again the website that people can go to find all these links?
So our website is StakerDAO.com.
Okay, perfect. I'm surprised that domain was available.
It's not the most common name that you'd ever come across, although there's a lot of people thinking about this space. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, I will leave you with any kind of closing statements that you wanted to say.
I would say that it's been great to be able to get out there and start talking about StakerDAO. We had our launch party last week in San Francisco with the Tezos meetup. I had the opportunity to talk here in Boston. For those of you around the world, I would love to have the opportunity to come and visit you guys in your meetups and continue to talk about what makes sense in the Tezos ecosystem.
Absolutely. So guys, if you invite Jonas to talk about StakerDAO to your meetup, you're going to get some of these cool t-shirts that we're wearing here. So definitely reach out to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thanks a lot, Ken.
Thanks, Jonas. Thanks for coming on today.
Okay.
Take care.